At the peak of a great mountain, there lived a humble Viking named Agarth. His village was very well known for his remarkable sword makers, and Agarth was one of them. In yet another cold day, Agarth decided to be different and to impress the Jarl of the village by making a new kind of swords. Golden swords, he said, was to be his unique idea. So instead of the conventional way of going about it, Agarth used golden material instead of steel. He forged his first golden sword and rushed sprinting to the Jarl of the village as he thought it would take his breath away of awe. "Jarl Duke, take a look at this golden sword. Nobody had thought about this before. If our Viking warriors were to use it, the Saxons will have no chance of fighting against us." The Jarl took the sword, tested its balance, then said, "This is a very well made sword, but I think it's too heavy to be wielded by our warriors. No one would want to buy a golden sword if it is of no use, Agarth." Agarth, with a disappointed look on his face, took his sword and went back to his forge. His idea was different and creative, but he didn't consider its weaknesses. This is called the confirmation bias. When we come up with something unique, we over-exaggerate expecting that it's going to shake the market and get success. And the big idea here, when you come up with something original, it doesn't mean that it's going to be successful just because it seems unique to you. Consider the market's needs first and your audience's preference. Be your own judge, study where you fall short and course correct from there before you put out anything in public. Agarth could have thought about mixing the gold with other materials like steel to make the sword lighter, but he was so blinded by his overconfidence to notice the inadequacy of his idea. Risking everything he had, Agarth emptied all his resources to buy the necessary equipment to forge that golden sword. Now he's left poor with nothing to eat. Successful originals take extreme risks in one arena and offset them with extreme caution in another. When you're about to engage in a business venture, ensure a stable income first. Do not go full risk mode like Agarth, selling all his stock of steel hoping to get more back with his uniqueness. Put your original idea out there, wait for it to blossom. If it didn't work, no problem, you have your job anyway. Bill Gates, who's known as one of the world's great risk takers, didn't drop out of Harvard even after he started Microsoft. He didn't quit university although he knew that his Microsoft idea was going to be a big hit. Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Agarth, stranded without a home, unable to cope with the cold of the mountains, had nothing left but to quit life and to throw himself in the Great Lake. As he was looking at the fish, he felt something strange. An idea came up to him. He remembered that most of the Vikings were likely to catch seasickness while traveling on a boat for long periods of time. His idea was to create a potion that would cure the Vikings' illness, so he began experimenting, mixing fish and fish eggs with other stuff, and trying out the potion himself. After a few weeks, he visited the Jarl's house again and presented him to his potion. Luckily, there were Vikings that day who were about to go fishing and who suffered from severe seasickness. The Jarl trusted the fisherman to try the potion while on board and see if it works. This time, it was a success. The potion was of great help. People came from around the world to buy Agarth's potion. This time, his originality served him well. And the idea here is to never put all of your trust in one single original idea. If you want to be successful with your originality, triple the quantity of ideas you generate. When you put out many original ideas, you will have higher chances of succeeding. Whereas if you bet on a single one, you limit your chances of success. And this completely reverses the notion of quality versus quantity. In terms of generating original ideas, quantity equals quality. If you go on Amazon and take a look at a best-selling author's profile, you will notice that he had to write many average books to be able to produce a bestseller. He had to publish many failures, and one of these failures turned out as a masterpiece. So creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. 1503. Leonardo da Vinci began working on his masterpiece, the Mona Lisa. The thing that was intriguing for most historians is that he was working on that painting on and off. He didn't finish the Mona Lisa until close to his death in 1519. No one would have thought that Leonardo was procrastinating with other tasks. He said geniuses sometimes accomplish most when they work the least, for they are thinking out inventions and forming in their minds the perfect idea. What he meant was basically, it's not about going full procrastination mode. You have to procrastinate strategically to benefit from what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect. Russian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik demonstrated that once a task is finished, we stop thinking about it. But when it is interrupted and left undone, it stays active in the back of our minds, the subconscious, while we engage in other tasks. And the ideas are more liable to manifest the moment we resume our work. So again, this isn't about mediocre procrastination, it's about strategic procrastination. Do not procrastinate before working, otherwise you won't get the same effect. The task has to be registered in your memory before you take a pause. That way, when you disengage from work, you will benefit from the Zeigarnik effect.